Hi there everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial on brushes. How do we actually make brushes on Photoshop? How do we get ready ones online? And many websites are there like Obsidian, Dawn, DeviantArt. You get many brushes ready, of course, that you really actually wondered how they really created them. So here's a tutorial. I'm going to show you how to actually do them. So here are some of my brushes, not all of them, the ones like the star, and even you could create a brush having your signature on it so that you could just click and start making your own wallpapers or graphics having a stamp on it, which was an easy way then instead of recreating the whole thing again. So let's get started. I'm going to show you exactly first how to make a brush and then modifying a brush. So let's create a new document. For this I'm going to use a big size wallpaper here. I'll use a widescreen dimensions. Okay, I'm zooming this to 100%, and let's actually zoom back here. And the first thing I'm going to do is create a brush. So first thing you need to know is how to create a brush. So once you create a brush, you can add it to your palettes and use it later on, even save them and even give it for others to download. So first thing is create a size document here which would actually specify the size of your maximum brush size. So I'm going to make it 500 width and 500 height. So this is the 100% size of my brush going to be that people can use. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and first thing we need to know is what kind of brush we're going to make. So I'm going to just make a design for this, and using my pen tool, make sure you have path selected. With my new layer I'm just going to draw in a shape here. So basically that'll be my brush. So I'm going to click and drag in here just a simple quick shape. You could even draw a heart or something that you're planning to make. Okay, once you have that point there, hold on your alt, click on the last point. I'm just going to draw this really quick. That's one part of my path, and actually gonna make that look sharp there. Well, let's go this way, exactly this way. Yeah, go half overlapping and something like that. There we go. Some kind of genie bottle or something. Okay, once that's done, let's right click and let's exactly first go to my path selection tool, and I'm going to select the whole path here. Now switch to my pen tool, right click. I'm going to say make, let's actually fill path here, and foreground I'm going to fill this with white. I'll actually fill that with black. So I'm selecting background and click on OK. You have that. Okay, it's actually didn't fill my inner part here. All that to do, I'm going to do is switch back to my sub selection tool, direct selection tool here. Okay, then modify that. Let's actually do something else here. Go back to my pen tool and I'm going to fill that again. Make sure I'm in the other layer. Make sure you have there. Oops, fill background. There you go. Delete path. I think that's some kind of brush. Okay, you could even, like, separate them, duplicate that and flip it horizontally, and maybe put it on this way. It really depends what you're looking for. As for this tutorial, I'm just going to make a rough brush here. So there you go. Let's say you are happy with this kind of brush. I don't know really what it is, but let's be happy with that for now. Once you have that done, I'm going to remove the eye box of my background layer and make sure you have it in a color which is visible, because Photoshop wouldn't know if it's really a thin curve or something like that. And now let's go back to my image, trim. I'm just going to trim this off. Make sure you have top everything checked. Okay, trim it exactly to your brush size here. And now what I'm going to convert this to a brush. So to do that, make sure you have layer selected, and of course it's a color that's visible. Edit, select, define a brush preset. That makes a brush for you, so that tells you this the size of your brush and asks you the name of your brush. So I'm going to call this my new brush, maybe. There you go. Okay, click on OK. Once you have that, you could either close this or you could save it as a PSD so that you could later on come and make modifications to it. Now I'm going to actually use that brush. So with my new document, I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to switch to my brush tool, select the brush. It comes right way at the bottom here, you can see that, and you'll see that the size is 449, which is the original size we created it in. And you see, you just give a click, it's white. Let's switch to black. One click gives you that brush, and you could even size that again like so. You couldn't make it really big because you'd see that the blur edges come because you've increased the original size of your brush. So back here, okay, I'm going to make this a bit smaller, say something like 80 pixels. Okay, and I'm going to hit on F5 to open the modification of the brush. This basically opens the brush settings so that you have more options in modifying. You have spacing, you can space them away, and you have the size of your brush, of course. You have flip X and Y axis, or flip both, and you have shape dynamics, which is quite a few nice options here. I love always to keep the shape dynamics size jitter way up to 100%, scattering up to 1000. You see them just randomly spreading out. You can increase the count, reduce the count, and play with some other options here. Let's reduce this size and make them a lot of. Okay, and let's just click and drag. You see that all your brush is there with all its settings. Yeah, that's a cool way of modifying a brush usually. And you could even, let's just brush in there and make a new layer. I'm going to use my pen tool to make those type of effects there. So I'm going to lower the size of the brush here. That's good. Okay, I'm going to switch to my pen tool and make sure you have paths checked. I'm going to click and just draw a curve here, and what basically I'm going to do is at this point and the starting point and at the end point, I want this brush to start from a small, grow up, and just reduce in size there. So once you have these 3 points, let's right click with your pen tool still selected, right click on your document and select stroke path. With that selected, make sure your tool is set to brush and stimulate pressure checked on. If that's not checked on, it wouldn't do the small to big thing, like so. See, everything comes in the same sizes, and if you had that checked on, you'd see it starts from a smaller and ends and the smaller point. It's not really seen in this brush, but usually it's visible. Let's say we do, oops, let's create a new layer. I'm going to switch to my brush. I'm going to select a default brush here, the one with the full hardness and a lower size, something like that. Now let's switch to my pen tool and draw a shape there, which I said that wouldn't really work if you do right click stroke path with stimulate pressure and click on OK, because you just selected a default brush which has no settings on the brush. So you see that comes. Let's use my pen tool, path selection. I'm just going to move this path a bit just to have that selection. You see that we have no soft edges and ends. To do that, you need to just modify your brush a bit. So with your brush selected, open up your brush settings, F5, and you need to check in shape dynamics with no size jitter. That basically gives you that power of effect. So with your pen tool again, if you do that again with stimulate pressure checked on, click on OK. It still didn't come. Let's just check what we have here. Make that small, come on. F5. Now let's try that. Yep, it's come. Here we go, soft edge. Basically it didn't come because my brush settings was having, oops, pen pressure checked off. So if that's off, basically it doesn't come. So if you try that again, Yep, it doesn't give you the soft edges, so make sure you have pen pressure checked on. Let's try that again. I'm going to switch to my brush, settings, brush, shift dynamics, switch the control to pen pressure. Basically it tells that with the pressure of that click. So since we are not using a tablet, we don't really know what pressure we're giving, so it basically depends on the points there. Now let's make that checked. Yeah, you can see that we have soft starting and ending point. So I hope this tutorial was kind of interesting and you learned something on brushes. I'll be showing you quite a few tutorials on brushes in my upcoming videos. Do check out my bubbles brushes, which is also online. And let's try this brush with our new one here. Shade dynamics, pen pressure. Just space that a bit. Yep. Let's lower that size. Actually, that was really big. Yep, let's go small. Yeah. Now let's try. Yep. There you go. Our own brush with its own effect. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and make sure you check on my other tutorials. Thank you for watching and see you later.